and you're following Mother Nature's rule. The sap doesn't run in the wintertime. It starts running when the warm days of spring start coming, and that's when you collect it, and the season is over when these trees bud out. When the trees bud out. Basically, they bud open, the little leaves start with the photosynthesis, they're utilizing the sugars, you're done. You get a buddy bitter sap. You know what that makes? A buddy bitter syrup. Yeah. The sap makes a bad syrup. So it's that simple. Now, they all have to do also the same thing as far as boiling it down. That's where the difference is. It's their methods. Who put that smoky thing on there? You little stinker? What? You just want me to get smoked out even more. Thank you, though, for getting these fires going. I appreciate it. Okay, so, you gotta boil it down. It's about 97, 98% water. How do you do that? Well, here they had, Eric will show you this. I danced at this site. They'll show you here. What's it made out of? It's made out of a metal kettles. And it's really nice because they put them right over the fire. And they start with the sap, which I said is mostly water. They start with about 45 gallons right there. They reduce that by about half at the beginning, the first run of sap that they have. Pour it into a second kettle here. If they're using the 3 kettle method, then they refill that first kettle back up. Now they're going non-stop. The second one you see here is getting a higher percent of sugar, but that's not necessarily what's causing the deeper, darker color. That's caused by the sugars are actually burning, okay? They're it's caramelizing, they're burning. So they start burning down there, they start boiling off. The smoke comes from the bottom where the fire is, and actually all the kids there, that's not smoke coming out of the top there. I'm sure a lot of you know, that's steam, and that's the water escaping. That's what we want to escape. Now, then we transfer it down to the finishing kettle here, and at this site, or at this stage, is where you're finishing it off. You're actually making maple syrup, okay? We've actually gone a little farther than that at 1 or 2 points here, and we took it down to almost sugar. Just had a good fire going. That's why we let that go down, and now he's adding to it. So here in a little while, when we feel it's right, we'll pour that off and get ourselves probably a nice quart of maple syrup, okay? Now, this is pure maple syrup. We did this last year. 66%. Yeah, baby. That's nice. No crystallizing on the sides right here. How do we do that? How do we do that? That's called dumb luck. Yeah. And I say that because that's a big difference between this spot and the next spot that you see at the Chellbergs. From like the 1860s, let's say, to the 1930s, is we're talking about technology and a change. Right here, they didn't know. Your guess is as good as theirs. Mine is as good as theirs. They would be here and they'd look and, oh, okay, the color perhaps, or is it dripping? Is it drip to drip? Is it a long drip? I don't know. But that's what they did. And then they made maple syrup and they would bottle it. This is probably the next big giant thing, is the technology of, or having a glass available. They were able to store it in a nice way as syrup, as opposed to back at the Native American or American Indian site that we were talking about. All right. So with that, man, whew, with that, it's essentially the same overall process, just using different tools. And finally, what I'd like to share is the importance as a food source. Do you think they needed it as a food source for survival as much as the Native Americans or American Indians? No, no. Less so. So basically, as the story goes, as we're talking about it, it's going more for a subsistence where they're really relying on it as a food source for survival more, to more of a luxury food item. You know, like today, you can go your whole life and never have it, and you'd be fine. It would be a bummer never to taste it. Okay, well with that, any questions? Yes, sir. Yeah.
How long will that one last?
You know, it lasts a long time. It lasts years and years and years. If it actually does get a mold layer on the top, just shed that, get it back up to a boil and rebottle it, and it's good as new. Yes.
Shouldn't you put a top on that?
Yeah, we broke it. You are right. We should.